Hey Jory, that coffee shop sounded really amazing. It sounds like you got a lot of really good reading done, and I'm so glad you got that opportunity. So I actually just got back from watching Avengers Infinity War again with my friend Brooke, and no, it does not get any easier the second time. It's still just as emotionally devastating. But I'm really glad I got to see it again and kind of keep an eye out for certain things. I can't wait to see part 2 to see just how it all turns out in the end. So this weekend I finally finished all of my schoolwork, which means I have more time for writing and editing and working on my internship, which means hopefully you'll see a lot more videos about my writing experience as I write and edit this summer, which will include a lot of videos in July about Camp NaNoWriMo. I think I already mentioned that I'm planning on doing that, but basically I will be working on the second book in my Queen of Basida trilogy during that time. I'm actually already about 30,000 words into that book, so I should be able to get a good chunk of it done. I'm thinking it'll probably end up being around 100,000, so if I write about 50,000 in July, which is my plan, then I'll be almost done the book by the time we're done that month, which will make it easier to finish later when I have some extra time. But what I really wanted to talk to you about today was my first book, which is currently on draft 4, and I've just started editing through it. So if you don't know, this past semester I had a couple of my friends look over it and kind of read through the whole book over the course of I think 2 months. We did it in chunks, so I have 8 giant chunks of my story that I need to read through, look at all of their edits, look at all of their suggested changes that I make, and try and figure out how to rearrange it and fix it and improve the writing a little bit. So my plan is to do about one of those chunks every week or so. I will be cutting that down a little bit during July. I'll probably do one chunk during every 2 weeks, but I don't know how well I'm going to be able to keep up with this. It might end up going a little bit into the school year, but hopefully I can be done by the end of August. So far, I've done just about the first couple chapters, and I actually cut down the word count by about 2,000, which is really good because the 4th draft of my story started at about 118,000 words, which is way too long for a science fiction novel. So my goal for this draft is to cut about 20,000 words and get it under 100,000. So what I've been doing is I've been taking the draft that I have, the little chunk of writing that I'm working with at the moment, and I'm looking at all of the suggestions my friends made and all the things I've written down that I need to change. And I'm trying to decide what scenes I want to keep, what scenes I need to cut, and what scenes I want to cut down a little bit, but maybe not delete entirely. So this first chunk I have been working on really hard, and I've actually cut about 3 scenes. I did a lot of changing things around and moving the story. I actually changed a major part of how the story starts because Megan, who was on your channel just a little bit ago, suggested a huge change that would really bring the story together, and it actually helped a lot more than she thought. So I've changed that, and it did change how the story started a lot, but it will hopefully have made it better. I really am liking how it pulled into the story as I have it now. But I've forgotten how hard editing can be because this time around I'm doing a lot more work with changing the story, whereas the past couple times I've done it, I've been mostly working through making sure continuity stays the same and working on wording and those type of things. So this time I'm really focusing on scene stuff. Does it need to be in there? What does it add to the story? Which has been a lot of fun, but it's also a lot of work as I try and put things side by side and try and figure out where exactly I want the story to go and how I want it to flow and what characters I want to focus on, that type of thing. So I've also been writing with music in my ears. When I wrote this book, I listened to a lot of instrumental music type stuff like Lindsey Sterling and the Piano Guys, and I discovered this band called 2 Steps from Hell, which I really like. They do a lot of instrumental kind of epic sounding music. So I found that when I put that type of music on, I have a specific Pandora station I'll go to for that. I get a lot of work done that way because it really helps me focus in on the story that I'm working on. And using music to kind of hack your brain into going into writing mode is actually something that one of my favorite YouTubers, Kat, recently talked about in her latest video, which was actually on how to make yourself write more. So I'll leave a link to that so you can check that out because it's really informative, and I think it's going to be super helpful for how to make sure you actually get your writing done. As with previous weeks, my internship has been going pretty well, so I'm really enjoying that. And as kind of a result of that, there's a possibility me and some of the other interns with the same agent might be able to do a panel on submitting manuscripts to agents during the Taylor University Writing Conference this August. So if that happens, I'll have to let you know, and I'm sure you'll be hearing all about it. I hope you're having a good week. Bye, Jory! If you like this video, go ahead and hit the subscribe button and ring the little bell so that you'll get a notification when I post. And then go ahead and check out Jory's channel because her and I will be talking back and forth like this all summer and you don't want to miss anything.